My beloved child, there are times when you think my protection only appears in great events, in miracles so clear that no one can deny them. But today, I want you to understand more deeply that my love often comes quietly, gently, and secretly, like dew falling on the grass before dawn awakens. I do not only stand between you and the dangers you can see, I also quietly remove from your path the things you never knew were approaching. I do not only cover you in the storm, I also prepare bread for you on the days when you think you have run dry. When your hands are empty, when you look around and see no resource left, I can still stir a heart far away to remember you, cause someone to suddenly desire to help you, and make a door that seemed to have fallen asleep open at the right time. Do not call these things coincidences, for in my love, even coincidence can become a messenger of mercy. There were days when you came very close to the edge of giving up, when only one more disappointing word, one more piece of bad news, one more long, sleepless night made your heart feel as though it could no longer bear it. But then, in that very moment, a caring message appeared. A phone call rang. An embrace came near. A simple sentence touched the place where you were hurting most. The person who spoke may not have understood why they messaged you at that hour, why they remembered you in the middle of so much busyness, why they said exactly what you needed to hear. But I knew. I placed a gentle prompting within them. I caused their heart to lean toward you. I used ordinary lips to send you a sign that you had never been forgotten. I do not always come with thunder that shakes the sky. Many times, I come through a gentle word, enough to keep you from the abyss of discouragement. There are also times when I comfort you in even more hidden ways. You are troubled, and suddenly a song begins to play as if every word had been written specifically for your situation. You are uncertain, and then a page of a book, a sacred reminder, or a simple image suddenly causes your heart to settle. You are covered by layers of overwhelming thoughts, and suddenly a strange peace comes over you. Not loudly, not forcefully, but gently, like my hand resting on your shoulder. My child, that peace is not the weakness of a passing emotion, nor is it an illusion meant to lull you to sleep. It is my presence entering your reality through a path your heart can recognize. I know what you need in order to be lifted up. I know when you need a voice, when you need silence, and when you need a small sign to know that I am still near. But today, I also want to open your eyes to see a deeper layer of the protection I have given you. You are not only held in my hand, you are also surrounded by holy messengers whom I have sent. You do not walk alone through the dangerous turns of life. You do not pass through heavy nights by your own strength. There are radiant armies carrying out my commands, quietly watching over you, guiding and serving according to my purpose for those who belong to me. You may not see them with your natural eyes, but invisibility does not mean unreality. You cannot see the wind, yet you recognize it when the leaves move. You cannot hold your breath in your hand, yet you know you live by it. In the same way, sacred works are taking place around you, hidden yet powerful, quiet yet full of authority. Do not imagine my angels as weak strokes in paintings, as distant symbols only meant to decorate religious memory. They are not vague stories covered in the dust of ancient times. They are powerful, pure, absolutely obedient servants, created to carry out my will with unfailing precision. They are not swept away by anxiety, not shaken by emotions, not limited by the fears that so often surround human beings. When I command, they go. When I appoint, they act. When I place you under my care, what needs to be guarded will be guarded in ways you cannot yet fully understand. You are my child, and because you belong to me, your life is not outside the movement of heaven. Remember the prophet Elisha at Dothan, when his servant was terrified because he saw the enemy army surrounding the city. Before that servant's eyes, there was only danger, only swords, only the overwhelming force of the adversary. But Elisha did not tremble, because he knew what human eyes had not yet seen. When the eyes of understanding were opened, the servant saw that the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around. Do you see? Before you recognized the help was already there. Before you saw heaven intervening, heaven was already ready. Before you could even call out in words, I already knew what needed to be sent, whom to send, where to place protection, and what needed to be stopped. That story is not only meant to amaze you about a time long past, but to help you understand that what surrounds you is greater than what stands against you. Perhaps in your life there have been strange moments that even now you still cannot explain. One day you slowed down by a few minutes, and because of that, you avoided danger. One time you changed direction without knowing why, and later discovered that the old path held trouble. A dream awakened you with caution. A deep inner sensing told you to wait a little longer. Remain silent a little longer. Leave. Or stay. You thought it was only intuition, only coincidence, only a passing reaction. But I want you to know that many times, within those things were the footprints of holy protection. Not everything I do is written in large letters before your eyes. There are miracles that appear only in the form of a delay, a canceled appointment, a message arriving at the right moment, a door that does not open, or a gentle uneasiness that causes you to avoid what was not meant for you. Yet, my beloved child, do not let this understanding lead you into misplaced curiosity or into seeking strange things more than you seek me. The angels belong to my command, but your heart must always be directed toward me. They serve according to my will, but I am your Father, your source of protection, your provider, and your refuge. Do not worship the instrument when the one who sends it is near you. Do not chase signs and forget my voice. What I reveal to you today is not meant to magnify mystery, but to give you peace, knowing that your life is being cared for more than you realize. I want you to walk in awareness, giving thanks for what is seen and also for what is unseen, staying humble before the many times you have been kept from harm without even knowing it. Therefore, when you enter a season of lack, do not quickly conclude that I have stopped providing. When you feel lonely, do not quickly believe that no one remembers you. When you stand at confusing crossroads, do not quickly think that you are feeling your way through the darkness alone. I still have my own ways of sending help. I can use a stranger, an old friend, an unexpected opportunity, a delay that seems inconvenient, a very gentle reminder within your heart, or a peace no one can explain. I can also send holy messengers ahead of you to prepare the way, behind you to guard you, and around you to hold back what has not been permitted to touch your life. What you see is only a small part of the picture. What I am doing behind the scenes is far wider, deeper, and more full of mercy. So live today with a heart that is tender yet steady in faith. Give thanks for the small loaf of bread on the table, for the message that arrives at the right time, for a song that lifts you up, for a door that closes before you step into the wrong place, for peace appearing while everything is still unfinished. Believe that I am still the provider in silence, the protector in the unseen, the one who watches over you with love that never falls asleep. You do not need to see the entire heavenly army in order to know you are being kept. You only need to look back and recognize that through so many things that seemed as though they could have crushed you, you are still here. still being lifted up, still being led, still breathing with enough breath to hope. I am with you. And when I am with you, you are never truly without help, never truly abandoned, never walking without light from heaven, quietly illuminating the way. My beloved child, let your heart become still like a lake after a strong wind. For I am calling you into a deeper place, not a place of striving to prove yourself, but a place of complete surrender. I do not call you near in order to place more burdens on your shoulders, nor do I demand that you become perfect before you are allowed to be close to me. I call you as you are, with the parts of you that are still tender, with the questions that still have no answers, with even the fears you still hide in the secret corners of your heart. What I seek is not a flawless appearance, but a sincere heart that knows how to open itself before me. When you no longer try to cover your weariness, when you stop pretending that you are always fine, when you dare to lay down the things you have held for far too long, that is when you begin to step into the freedom I prepared for you beforehand. My child, the surrender I invite you into is not loss in the way you once feared. It is not me taking away your identity, your dreams, or your voice. It is me freeing you from the invisible chains that have made you weary. There are things you hold on to because you think that if you let go, you will have nothing left to cling to. But I want you to understand that a tightly closed hand cannot receive what is new. When you give me what makes you afraid, I will place within you a peace that rises above every disturbance. When you give me the plans you have drawn out through tension and anxiety, I will show you a wider, the brighter path that is right for the season into which I am leading you. When you release control, you do not fall into emptiness. You fall into my arms. There are times when I am silent, not because I am far from you, but because I am teaching you to recognize my presence in a way deeper than words. My silence is not abandonment, many times. It is a holy room where you learn to sit still, learn to wait, and learn to trust that I am still working even when your eyes have not yet seen. You often want an answer immediately, want everything to open clearly before you, want to know why this happened and why that was delayed. But I, the one who sees from the beginning to the end, know the best time to speak, to open, to lift, to stop, and to move you forward. If I have not yet spoken the thing you long to hear, remain close to me. If I have not yet opened the door you are knocking on, keep trusting that I have not forgotten your cry. In that holy silence, I am forming within you a more delicate ability to listen, so that when I speak, you will not only hear with your ears, but recognize with the whole depth of your faith. Remember Abraham when I called him to leave the familiar land and go to a place he did not fully know. He did not hold a complete map in his hand, nor were all the details explained from beginning to end. But he walked because he believed that the one who called him was faithful. And then, one day, I tested his heart with what was most precious, not to steal his joy, but to reveal that love for me must stand above everything a human being can hold. When he placed what he loved most upon the altar, I had already prepared provision on the mountain. Do you see? The place you think is the place of ultimate loss can become the place where I reveal my faithfulness most radiantly. What I need from you is not empty sacrifice, but a trust that knows everything you place in my hands will never be wasted. In the same way, my beloved, the small things you offer in silence are not small in my eyes. A tearful prayer in the middle of the night, a faithful choice when no one praises you, a moment when you hold back a bitter word to keep your heart pure, a step of obedience, even though you do not fully understand. All of these carry weight in the spiritual realm. Do not think that only great things before the eyes of the world are recognized by me. I see your quiet victories, I see when you choose love instead of closing your heart. I see when you choose forgiveness, even while the wound still aches. I see when you keep your heart upright in circumstances that easily cause people to change. And I tell you this, these very things are a precious fragrance rising before me. You will gradually understand that the most beautiful worship does not only resound on the days when your emotions are full, but is also formed in the seasons when you remain faithful, even though your heart has not yet seen the light. When everything around you changes, when others leave, when plans fall apart, when doors close, and you still choose to remain with me. That is a song without sound that moves heaven. When you do not understand and still trust, your faith is not becoming weaker. It is being refined like gold in the fire. When you have not yet seen the result and still continue to walk, you are learning to live by trust and not by outward signs. When you still say, "Lead me," even though you do not yet know where the road will turn, that is when your heart is being rooted in me more firmly than ever before. I do not love you because of the achievements you obtain. I do not love you because of how much you can do, how long you can endure, or how many people recognize you. I love you because you are my child. That love existed before every work you did, runs deeper than every mistake you have ever made, and remains stronger than every season when you felt unworthy. But that very love will not leave you forever in the old narrowness. I love you enough to comfort you, but I also love you enough to transform you. I lift you when you fall, but I also teach you to walk with greater maturity. I hold you when you are in pain, but I also lead you out of the things that once bound you. I do not only want you to be comforted for a moment, I want you to become a place where my presence can dwell, shine, and touch others. Therefore, do not seek the extraordinary by chasing the attention of the world. What is extraordinary in my kingdom often begins in silence, in a humble heart, in a child who knows how to say, "Let your will be done," even when it requires laying down one's own desire. You do not need to make yourself stand out in order to be used by me. You only need to remain in me and allow me to purify your motives, enlarge your love, deepen your faith, shape your words, and guide each step of your feet. When you live like an empty vessel before me, I will pour into you what is needed. When you become small in my hands, I will cause your life to bear fruit beyond what you could ever produce on your own. Perhaps you think your offering is too little, a little time in prayer, a little remaining strength, a little trembling faith, a little hope just rekindled after a long, weary season. But I am the one who knows how to multiply what is small. Just as a very small seed can become a great tree, just as a small handful of flour can feed an entire household when placed in obedience. What you give to me will not end within your limitations. I can take your weakness and make it a place where my power is made known. I can take your once broken story and make it a stream of comfort for others. I can take the days when you thought you were most useless and use them to prepare you for a season of lasting fruit. Do not despise what you place in my hands, for in my hands, no sincere offering is small. Now, my beloved, enter, surrender, not through fear, but through love. Give me the things you do not yet understand, the doors you still long for, the people who still occupy your heart, the dreams you fear losing, and the wounds you do not yet know how to heal. I am not telling you to let go so that you become empty. I am telling you to let go so that you may be filled with what comes from me. I am not inviting you to surrender in order to weaken you. I am inviting you to surrender so that you may be placed within a strength that never runs dry. Be faithful in ordinary days, persistent in confusing days, tender in days of shaping, and trusting in days when you still cannot see a way out. I am with you in every season, I receive what you offer. I lift what you lay down. I speak in the silence. I multiply what is small. And from your surrendered life, I will cause fruit marked by eternity to blossom. Not so your name may be exalted, but so my love, my light, and my kingdom may be revealed through you. My beloved child, when your heart sinks like a sail caught in an opposing wind, when doubts quietly crawl into your mind and whisper that you have gone the wrong way, pause for a moment and hear my voice calling you with love that never fades. I do not see you through your stumbles, nor do I define you by the seasons when you thought you had failed. In my eyes, you are still the cherished child, protected, covered, and guided step by step on the journey I have appointed. There are roads I allow you to pass through, not to crush you, but to help you discover that within your weariness, there is still a source of strength that comes from me. You may not yet see tomorrow opening wide, but I have already seen the dawn before the night ends. You may hear only the wind howling around you, but I have already prepared a shore of peace ahead. Therefore, do not let today's tired moment convince you that your whole life has lost direction. Know that not every path marked by my hand is smooth from the beginning. Sometimes you will pass through places that make your heart tremble, circumstances that force you to face your limits, doors that close and leave you not understanding why I did not open them. But my child, what you call an obstacle is often the framework I use to strengthen your faith. What you call delay may be hidden protection. What you call failure may be the way I lead you out of a direction that no longer fits the promise I have given you. I never let you wander meaninglessly among trials. Every season of strong wind is under my gaze. Every heavy step you take is counted by me. Every tear you shed is kept by me as something precious. Because I know those tears do not only speak of sorrow, they also speak of a heart still trying to hold on to faith. There is a story I want your heart to ponder. When my disciples were in the middle of the lake, darkness covered the water, and the boat was battered by the waves. They thought they had been left alone in danger. The wind did not stop blowing. The water did not stop rising. And human eyes in the dark often see only the most frightening thing. But in that very hour, I came near them on the water, walking over the very thing that terrified them so they would know my power is not hindered by fierce waves. Do you see? I do not need the storm to be calm before I come to you. I can come in the middle of the storm. I do not need darkness to retreat before I reveal my presence. I can step into that very darkness and turn the place you thought was the end into the place where you recognize me more clearly than ever before. So when you see your life shaking, do not quickly conclude that I am absent. It may be the very moment when I am walking upon the things that frighten you in order to come closer to you. From the deepest place within you, let this word soak into every thought. Nothing is too great for me. High mountains do not make me step back. Deep valleys cannot hide my hand. A closed door cannot keep me from opening another way. The judgments of people cannot cancel the beloved name I have placed upon you. When you are weak, I do not leave. When you doubt, I do not turn away. When you feel small, I bend even closer to cover you with mercy. I do not require you to always be strong in the way the world admires. I only want you to place your weakness in my hands, so I may turn it into a place where grace is revealed. True courage is not that you never tremble, but that you still choose to move toward me while your heart is trembling. True faith is not that you always see the entire path, but that you still believe the one holding your hand knows the destination. Each day given to you is not merely a passing span of time, but a sacred invitation for you to learn to trust me more deeply. There will be days when your heart feels full of light, when prayer flows easily, when hope within you shines like the morning. But there will also be days when you must fight to preserve one small spark of trust, when you must resist thoughts that want to pull you back into fear. Do not despise such days. In my eyes, one faithful step taken in weariness is as precious as a song of victory sung in joy. When you still choose to turn toward me though you see no sign, when you still say that you believe, though tears still wet your lashes, when you still keep your heart upright though your circumstances have not changed, you are growing in a strength more enduring than temporary emotion. I am teaching you not only to trust me when the miracle has appeared, but also to trust me while the seed still lies beneath the soil, quietly sprouting where your eyes cannot yet see. My beloved, you belong to me, and that belonging is not as fragile as your emotions, nor is it shaken by one difficult day. I have called you with love, kept you with faithfulness, and covered you with care beyond what you can fully understand. When you thought you were fighting alone, I was there like shade at your right hand. When you thought you no longer had enough strength to continue, I was the one who carried you through roads you do not know how you survived. When you look back and see that you are still standing here, that is not coincidence. It is the trace of my hand quietly preserving you. I do not merely stand at the end of the road waiting for you to arrive. I walk with you through every stage, ahead of you to prepare the way, beside you to comfort you, and behind you to protect you from things you do not recognize. So do not let the long night make you forget that the dawn still belongs to me. The night may be long, but it has no authority to reign forever. Darkness may cover your vision, but it cannot extinguish the promise I have lit over your life. When the sun of a new season rises, you will understand that the days you thought were empty were actually used by me to prepare a deeper foundation within you. My grace will come not only like gentle light, but also like new life that helps you rise with greater peace, greater wisdom, greater tenderness, and greater steadiness. The blessings I prepare do not always appear in the form you expect, but they will carry the flavor of the right time, the right place, and what you truly need. Keep walking, my child, not because your fear has disappeared, but because you know I am greater than your fear. Lift your head, not because every question has been answered, but because the one who leads you never loses the way. Let your heart rest in this truth. I am your refuge, the light in the night, the strength in weariness, the hand that does not let you go in rushing waters. The trials you face are not the end, but steps leading you closer to maturity and faith, in love, and in the knowledge of my faithfulness. You are not defeated. You are being refined. You are not forgotten. You are being kept. You are not walking alone. I am with you. And when I am with you, every darkness will eventually have to give way to light. Every storm will have to bow before peace. And everything that seemed impossible will become the place where I reveal my gentle power over your life. There are roads you have traveled where you thought you survived only by the little strength you had left. But in truth, I was preserving you in every step. When you stood before difficult decisions, I placed quiet wisdom within you. When you avoided a path that seemed beautiful but later proved harmful, I drew you away with mercy. When you lost something you had once clung to, I did not laugh at your pain. I was teaching you that some things leave your hands so your hands may become empty enough to receive something better. The road I lead you on does not always resemble what you imagined, but every turn is still within my care. Believe that even on the days when you feel lost, I know exactly where you are. No valley is too deep for me to descend into it with you. No darkness too thick for my light to pierce through. No wound too old for my love to touch and make new. Now, let my presence cover you. Breathe more slowly and recognize that you are still being kept. The things that frighten you are not greater than me. The words that wounded you do not have the authority to define you. Old failures cannot write the ending of your journey. I am the Father who lifts you up, the place you return to when the world makes you weary, the one who sees your worth even when you forget how precious you are. I am not only with you on the days when you are strong, joyful, and full of faith, I am also with you on the days when you are silent, when you must gather each small piece of courage to continue. My love does not withdraw when you are weak. My protection does not disappear when you are confused. On the contrary, in the very moments when you feel smallest, I bend even closer to you, so you may know that you are held by a love that never runs dry. Therefore, rise, not by your own stubbornness, but by the faith that I am lifting you. Keep walking, not because you have seen the entire road, but because you know the guide is faithful. Let your heart stop resisting the peace I am giving. Allow yourself to rest in me, to be restored in my gentleness, to grow stronger each day by the strength that comes from above. I will go before you to prepare the way, beside you to comfort you, and behind you to protect you from what you cannot see. When you stumble, I lift you. When you cry, I wipe your tears. When you are weary, I carry you. When you no longer know what to ask for, I still understand what you need before you can call it by name. My beloved child, believe this with the deepest stillness within you. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not defeated. You belong to my love, and in that love, you will find peace, find new strength, find enough light for today and enough hope for tomorrow.